This was the hardest hike I've ever done. An unmaintained trail, wildlife around every corner, multiple falls, and a view that made us question if it was all worth it. Today, we're hiking to Delta Lake. But before all that, we woke up before sunrise for one last morning in Grand Teton. We packed up our little home on wheels, hoping to catch sunrise at Oxbow Bend, one of the most photographic spots in the park, famous for its reflections of Mount Moran. But like every other day, today was too foggy. We spent about 10 minutes to see if the fog would clear to get any view, which did not happen. So with our sunrise plans gone, we decided to not waste a single minute. We headed straight to the trailhead. So our plan was to see the sunrise and head to the trailhead by 6 am. But if we didn't stop to capture these views, was it really worth coming all this way to Grand Tetons? I think we may have spent a lot of time here, but can you blame us? The whole drive to the trailhead left us in awe. We were supposed to head to Lupin Meadows trailhead, but the drive there was honestly just as beautiful as the hike itself. Every few minutes we would find ourselves pulling over because the Teton somehow looked even more incredible from every angle. Lately, I've found myself getting more excited about hiking than I ever was a few years ago. It's no longer about reaching a viewpoint, it's about the journey that gets you there. So, when I came across Delta Lake on Instagram, I knew I wanted to experience it for myself. I wanted to stand up there, look over the Grand Tetons, and see if I could push myself to make it to the top. I had no idea what I was signing up for. What started as another hike quickly turned into one of the biggest adventures I've ever had. And to this day, it's an experience I'll remember for the rest of my life. Because today we're hiking to one of the most beautiful lakes in Grand Teton National Park, a lake that's not officially maintained by National Park Service. Delta Lake has become incredibly popular thanks to social media, so it's very different from the maintained hiking trails inside the park. It's literally walking whatever way you want or whichever way you want just to get to the top, without anything you can hold on to as you climb the 500 feet elevation to the top. So yeah. So if you're still planning to do this hike after watching this video, please do your own research. Check recent trial conditions and only attempt it if you're confident in your fitness and hiking experience. I'm not here to convince or discourage anyone to do this hike. If anything, I want you to know exactly what you're signing up for. I'll show you every section of the trail, the wildlife we encountered, the difficult parts, and of course, whether the view at the end was actually worth it. We've reached the trailhead around 7 am and I genuinely think we got lucky. There was only one parking spot left and we've heard from other hikers that the lot gets full by 6 am. So if you're planning this hike, I would definitely recommend getting there as early as possible. We used the AllTrails app to navigate this hike and honestly I think we would have gotten lost without it. The route isn't obvious, especially once you leave the maintained trail, so having this app made a huge difference. This isn't sponsored unfortunately, but if you're planning this hike, I would definitely recommend downloading it beforehand. If there's one thing I wish we'd done differently is eat breakfast. We were so focused on getting an early start that we skipped it completely, and trust me, you'll want all that energy you can get for this hike. Before we started, we've done plenty of research. We've watched videos, read reviews, and checked AllTrails. We knew it was rated as a hard hike, but after completing it, I honestly think hard is an understatement. If AllTrails says a trail is hard, prepare for it to feel 10 times harder than you imagine. We are not experienced hikers. My husband definitely handles hikes better than I do, but this trail humbled us both. We're doing this hike during the first week of June and the timing couldn't have been more perfect. The trail was covered in wildflowers, making the entire hike even more magical. From what I've seen, it gets even more colorful later in the summer, especially around August and September when the meadows are in full bloom. About 30 minutes into the hike, we reached the spot and I couldn't stop smiling. The view surrounded by wildflowers were absolutely stunning, and it was also the perfect excuse to catch some breath before the steeper elevation really began. Our first wildlife encounter was this adorable northern pygmy owl. She just caught a rodent and was calmly sitting on a branch, completely unbothered by everyone passing around, and it was such a special moment to witness nature doing its thing. A little farther along, we spotted our first mammoth. We were so excited until we realized they were literally everywhere along the trail. Coming to the Delta Lake hike, it is about 8 miles round trip, roughly through 2,300 feet of elevation gain. The first 3 miles are on a well maintained trail, climbing nearly 1,700 feet through forests, switchbacks, and beautiful wildlife meadows. Honestly, even that section is enough to leave you out of breath. But that's not the part everyone talks about. The last half mile is where everything changes. The maintained trail ends, and from there, you are followed through an unmaintained social trail that's been created by hikers over the years. The National Park Service does not maintain or officially mark this route, which means conditions change constantly depending on the season. You'll be climbing across loose stones, walking through mud, crossing streams of melting snow, and scrambling through steep snowfields where one wrong step could send you sliding downhill. That's why this trail isn't shown as official destination on Google Maps, and why so many experienced hikers recommending checking recent trail reports before attempting it. This trail also has incredible maintained trails like Amphitheater Lake and Sunset Lake that offer amazing views without some of these risks that you'll see in the video. Our next wildlife encounter was this dusky grouse. I know they aren't known for being aggressive, but she had the most intimidating stare. We were still a good distance away, yet she looked completely unimpressed that we were sharing a trail with her. I quickly grabbed these clips, and then I was more than happy to keep walking. And then we reached what was probably my favorite viewpoint of the entire hike. The higher we climbed, the more the valley opened behind us, and it was one of those moments where you stop, catch your breath, and just take it all in. This was the point where I realized the views were only getting better from here. And then we came across a couple of mammoths on the trail just a few feet apart from us, happily munching on plants. They seemed so accustomed to people that they barely paid any attention to us. Seeing wildlife in their natural habitat is honestly one of my favorite parts of hiking. But I also want to mention something that didn't sit right with me. Along the hike, we saw a couple of teenagers deliberately running towards mammoths just to scare them so that they could film their reactions. Please don't do that. You're visiting their home. They're not here for your entertainment. Respect wildlife, keep your distance, never try to frighten or feed them, and let them behave naturally. Not only is it better for the animals, but it's also safer for you. Because any wild animal can be defensive if it feels threatened. One of the best parts of visiting places like Grand Teton is getting to witness its wildlife exactly as it should be. Wild. We're supposed to go all the way until there on all of these rocks. Really? I wish that was the hardest part. Because what came next almost made me turn around. After crossing the snow, recording wasn't even an option anymore. Because both my hands were busy trying to keep me from falling. I was grabbing onto rocks, tree branches, even clumps of grass just to pull myself up. The climb became so steep that every step needed my full attention, and before I knew it, my hands were completely in mud. And then came the part that scared me the most. The afternoon sun had been melting the snow. That meant the surface was turning into slush. And no matter how good your hiking boots are, it became incredibly slippery. We slipped more than once. Thankfully, we weren't injured, but every fall reminded us how carefully we needed to be. One minute we were climbing loose rocks, and the next we were crossing melting snow, and then came muddy section of icy water flowing underneath. Just when we thought it was over, more rocks, more snow, and more mud, over and over again. Yep, I fell. By this point, we were completely exhausted. I had no idea how much further we had to go, but honestly, I wish I had worn a head mounted camera because no clip would have truly captured how difficult those final sections were. But eventually, we made it. The second Delta Lake came into the view, everything went quiet. The water was this unreal shade of turquoise, surrounding by towering peaks, and for a few moments, all the exhaustion disappeared. Was it worth it? For me, yes. This is one of those adventures I'll be telling my family about, and hopefully my kids for years to come. We spent about 30 to 45 minutes at the lake soaking in the views. Although, if I'm being truly honest, part of me was already wondering how on earth are we going to get back down. Going up was hard, coming down was completely a different challenge. The snow had melted even more by then, turning parts of the trail into a mix of slush, water, and mud. We slipped several more times, and it wasn't until we were descending that I finally realized how much elevation we had climbed. On our way back, we had the most unforgettable wildlife encounter. A cinnamon colored black bear with her three cubs. They were far away from us to watch safely, and seeing a mother bear with her cubs in the wild was such a special moment for both of us. And not long after that, a few deer crossed the trail completely unbothered by everyone walking past them. And finally, we made it to the parking lot. I don't think I've ever been as happier as I was while standing on a flat ground. I have no idea how much longer an experienced hiker would take, but we completed the hike in 10 hours from start to finish, and that's without stopping for a proper meal. By the end, we were completely dehydrated. The funny part is, I barely felt hungry while taking this hike. I think the adrenaline just took over. It wasn't until we got back to the car and started driving towards Jackson that it suddenly hit me how exhausted and hungry I actually was. We quickly changed into dry clothes because we were completely soaked in mud and snow. Before calling it a day, we had one last stop to make, Mormon Row. This historic area is best known for its iconic barns, with the Grand Tetons creating one of the most photographed backdrops in the entire park. If you have ever seen a picture with an old wooden barn with Tetons behind it, chances are it was taken right here. Watching the sun slowly set behind those barns felt like a perfect way to end one of the most adventurous days of our trip. I hope you enjoyed coming along with us on day 3 of our Grand Teton adventure. Tomorrow we'll be saying goodbye to Grand Teton and making our way to Yellowstone National Park, where we'll be exploring colorful hot springs, powerful geysers, and landscapes that honestly don't even look real. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Goodbye.